This is like a Boondocks episode. You know what? It's not even.
Right.
This is just another commentary on how things have been done above ground, and he is daring one to really accuse him, because the 9/11 stuff and Osama bin Laden and us searching for him in Afghanistan, and that's why we're there and trying to legitimize our presence in that area of the world, because we're trying to capture this bad man that was the architect of this horrible incident of terrorism on this soil, is all such a facade, and it is right there for you to thumb through. You can Google it.
Right.
It's not deep. So it's like, for me, you know, this whole conversation is just, it's fascinating to me. It really is fascinating. Someone should do a study on the last 8 years.
Absolutely.
But rule
Right.
over the last 8 years, and how he has managed what he has managed, how he's done what he has done, you know, how he's presided over networks, you know. I mean, someone really ought to do a study, because 9/11 and Osama, first of all, I struggle to see how, if we are looking for Osama, right, and we were real clear, shortly after the planes went into the buildings, his face was up, wasn't it?
And
on CNN, and they were
people.
showing you the news reels of him holding AK-47s.
All that.
Okay, very convenient. I also thought it was so deep that after they land every plane in this country, set a precedent. There's one plane that gets to take off.
His family.
His family? But I'm looking for you.
Right.
But we're going to let your people go.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
That makes sense. So again, it's all above ground. It's all above ground.
Right. Now, in the interest of time, we're going to move on to the next piece.
Okay.
Which appears on page 17. And this is a good segue, because it continues with our brother, Barack Obama. And this particular article reads, "The Farrakhan Litmus Test for Blacks Only." And it's written by a guest columnist named Brother Jackie Muhammad. And I'm going to just read the first paragraph, then we're going to jump right in. It says, "It appears that any major black politician thinking of running for political office must take the Farrakhan litmus test before seeking office. They must denounce Minister Louis Farrakhan even before they can launch a credible campaign. I wonder if the same principle applies to Hillary Rodham Clinton and to her potential vice presidential running mate, Governor Ed Rendell of Pennsylvania, as well as other prominent white politicians who have been associated with the minister." Now, this article comes on the heels, of course, of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's recent Savior's Day address, where he praised Barack Obama. He didn't necessarily endorse him, but he said some really glowing and complimentary things about brother. And subsequent to that, that following Tuesday, Hillary and Barack were engaged in the debate where it was Tim Russert and Brian Williams were the moderators. And, of course, the Farrakhan question came up. And he was asked to denounce Minister Farrakhan and reject. So.
And he did.
He did. Why is it that Minister Farrakhan is the litmus test for black leaders?
It's a really good question, and probably requires an unpopular answer. I mean, if you're willing to not be led by the rhetoric that gets attached to politics, if you're willing to not have to agree with everything that a person says to recognize how large they are and how good they might be for you, for your community, what you have to come away with, in my judgment, is that Louis Farrakhan is quite a leader.
Right.
I think in many respects he's feared, frightful, intimidating, because he's also very clear about the fact that he is not lobbying for popularity endorsements,
Right.
some celebrity status. He is not going to try to outsource
Right.
in order to grow larger.
Right.
And so that in many respects runs counter to the way we've done politics since we've established politics in this country. You have to be able to be bought and sold. You have to be able to yield. You have to be interested in being popular.
Right.
You have to outsource in order to, grow larger. So, and then I think also just because his stance is very unwavering, he points a finger at the United States and he accuses. But when you unpack his statements, he's not saying anything that again, Google it.
Right.
He's looking at
Right.
how we've shown up historically, how we continue